but there was no coercion there at all.
Yeah.
So
Well, I
in
mean,
my opinion, unless the government actually starts sending official letters on government letterhead, there's no coercion.
yeah, I guess that was kind of my next question is if he did say something akin to those Democrats need to watch what they say because, if I don't like what they did and they better handle it themselves or we might have to handle it. That could be interpreted as in a perfect world where everyone's kind of on the same page like America used to be. That would come off as aggressive, but not like a threat to democracy. But if he's saying it
Correct.
like a mob boss, an offer you can't refuse, that would be a problem. So if let's say he did say that, like it seemed overtly like a threat. I mean, would you litigate to fix that type of behavior, or would you say, hey, they got the government right now. It is what it is. Other side's going to do it too.
I mean, I think if he came out and said, look, unless they fire Kimmel for what he did, we are going to prosecute them for what he said. If he came out and said that, I'd be the first to say that's just bullshit. That's wrong. You know, that's like saying
Well,
second day back in high school, you're talking back to the class. The teacher's like, "Hey, do it again. You're going to get detention." That's like me saying the first time you do it, I'm pushing to get you expelled. There's you give a little bit
yeah,
of
there's
grace,
levels
right?
to it.
Yeah. So
Let
it's
me
one
let me
thing to
take
say,
let me actually take it back. Not I mean just back a little bit. If there's no overt threat, but there's definitely a subversive threat, a
yeah,
threat underneath it, and it's very clear. Because I always try thinking loopholes. Because everyone uses loopholes. Always use loopholes. How would you handle that? Would you, if you're an independent and you got to fix that somehow? How would you fix it? Or would you say, hey, the Republicans have power; they can bully the Democrats, and the Democrats have power; they can bully the Republicans? Because that's what we do anyway these days.
at that point, I would litigate it because again, unless it's a direct threat, I just ignore it.
Yeah.
It's funny. I drive from Las Vegas to Orange County about 4 hours each way. Once or twice a month, right? To go visit client, go work down there. Um, so that happens, and it's funny. You go along, and everybody's doing 75 to 80 on the I-15. It's 70 miles an hour. Right? 2 lanes each way, desert. Literally nothing for like 30 miles at a stretch except desert, and it's like driving through West Texas. Okay, kind
Yeah.
of a thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
miles and miles of miles and miles, and every once in a while you'll see a cop parked on an overpass, and suddenly everybody slams on their brakes to 65. Right? And a lot of times I'm like, no, I'm over in this line. I'm going to keep going 75 to 80. And he does nothing. Okay. It's an implied threat, but he's not doing anything. He's not enforcing it. And yeah, I'm speeding a bit. And he's looking at me going, that's not even worth messing with. But it's an implied threat. And so everybody reacts to the implied threat. Whereas there's no need to go less than the speed limit just because you see a police officer around. Right. And there's no need to drive like an idiot, like slamming on your brakes when you see a police officer around. If you're not already driving like an idiot, he's probably not going to give you an issue for saying, oh, yeah, guy's going 5-6 over, but geez, there's nothing here and there's nobody here. It's not even packed traffic. I'm not going to mess with it. He's perfectly safe because that's what they're looking for. I think you have to interpret all government actions the same way. Is like there's the letter of the law and there's the spirit of the law, and they're both supposed to be enforced. And that's, basically what the Supreme Court has said multiple times. Is like, look, you need to look at both of those. And so if I was ABC and Carr came in and said, hey, yeah, it really shouldn't have happened. And we need to really look at your guys' books. And we need to look at everything else you're doing. And, unless, we don't know if Kimmel should be kept on and things like that, I'd say, yeah, sorry, sucks to be you. We're going to do what we want to do.
You're
But
gonna
the
keep driving
important thing is,
75.
yeah, ABC and Disney made their decision based upon financials of like, shit, we're losing money on this show. And now 35% of our stations of our clients are going away because of it. How much more money can we lose on this thing? Because now I can't position commercials during the Kimmel show and get money on those commercials because they're not showing. And nobody's going to pay, a big national chain is not going to pay to go on each of those individual channels one at a time. I can't sell that block anymore. What happens? So they did it for financial reasons. So I take very much a stance of unless the government says, no, I'm going to arrest you right now, or what you're doing is going to, result in your immediate arrest or fining. You know what? I'll take it under advisement.
Well, what about
Innocent until proven guilty.